Hey, Terrible Warriors. Hope you're out there staying safe. Just so you know, we do have plans to keep releasing episodes. In fact, before everyone had to self-isolate, we happened to record 4 more episodes to go. So you are going to be listening to that archive as we continue to release. And in April, we may continue with the Spire with remote recordings, or we might be looking into doing some return to one-shot, so stay tuned to the end of this podcast for important information on how you can get involved. And if you find yourself looking for a place to hang out, you're welcome at our Discord channel. Say hi, play a game with us, and let's stay connected during all of this. And today on the Terrible Warriors, remember that sage who went running off into the alleyway after a bar fight? Well, he needs help, and he needs help fast. Things are getting out of control, and there is so much in this city that he does not know. But there is someone he knows. Someone who has their pulse on the situation. Someone who knows that in Spire, entertainment can take many forms. There are those who resist to the creation of their works. They allow their performance and their art to speak for them. And the next member of the ministry of our hidden mistress is one such individual. Velvet Wells joins the Spire as the idol. You've seen his name on the playbill as Gerald, but their real name is Xyrie. The Spire reaches so far high up into the sky. But as high as it reaches, as impossibly tall as it is, it also goes deep down under the ground. And well under Middle City, where Harvest continues to clamp down with his ever-oppressive laws and bylaws and new rules of day-to-day life. Well far away from Peto's toy store, where our Lejeanne now rests and meditating, trying to plan their next steps. We've been there a few times. It's Derelictus. Not just Red Row. Red Row is just a little place in Derelictus. That's where you want to go if you gotta get something you're not allowed to have. Derelictus is the bowels of Spire. It's what's underneath. And it is... no light reaches down here. What does reach down here? All the sewage from the massive tower above you, all the water and runoff and smoke and pollution and poison, it all comes down here. But also pouring their way down into Derelictus are everyone who can't afford to live anywhere else in Spire, who can't afford to leave Spire, who wouldn't want to leave Spire. Spire is their home. It's when your endurance is run up and you can't pay off your debts, you go to Derelictus. If you don't ever serve your endurance, you want to stay away from the city guard, you can go to Derelictus. Derelictus has a city watch, but it's a token city watch. It's only there as punishment for guards who maybe got a little too up with their superior officers. They're sent down here as a timeout, teach you a lesson. You come up, you're going to do what you're told after you've served a month down in Derelictus. Derelictus is the home of cults and secret societies, churches that would never be allowed in Pilgrim's Row. It's a place of dirty magic, dirty air, dirty people. You go any deeper than this, and it's the heart of Spire, and there's only madness down there. So this is, hopefully, your last stop on your descent. Our sage, running for their lives from VVVV, has left their other sage to continue their investigation to find new ways to stop or learn about Harvest. You've heard news of what's gone on up in Middle City. You've heard about the arrests that have been made, the shutdown of the church, and you know that Daiga is in hiding and where they're staying. And word through the ministry has reached you through dead drops and secret agents and street urchins and secret handshakes. A note is passed to you, and you find out what's going on. So you know it's getting worse. And if things are not done soon, this will escalate. And Harvest has plans to use Middle City as some kind of twisted audition for promotion up Spire. If he can show how importantly valuable he is to the Aelfir, he's going to try and speak the language that they understand, which is only going to end up in bloodshed for someone like Harvest. So, you're running out of time. Things are getting worse. But you found a pamphlet, didn't you?
I sure did.
So, it says Xyrie, an artist, provocateur, performer, sculptor, tailor, kind of a Renaissance drow, is in Derelictus doing some kind of performance at the edge of the world. And, you were feeling pretty lost after spending some time there with Lysana, and you're further away to your goal than you started. But you and Xyrie have history, and Xyrie's got connections, and if anyone knows how to work their way out of a box, well, I think Xyrie actually did that last week, so...
And I have the beginnings of a desperate plan, putting some pieces of information I know together about various things and movements down here.
So you take the pamphlet of Xyrie's performance, you crumple it up, you fold it, you throw it into your pocket, and you head off in the direction away from Red Row, out into Derelictus, into the city beneath. And as you work your way through the fog and the dirt and the mud and the smoke, Xyrie, what are you doing in Derelictus? What is this performance?
I had such joy creating the fire flower, this one-off weapon, that I'm inspired to see if there are other weapons that I can create for the people of Derelictus that aren't weapons.
There's an interesting thing happening in Derelictus right now. He hasn't been welcomed up in Pilgrim's Row, where 1,000 gods operate. Brother Hellion and the Church of the Hellionite, they worship the firearm and the gun. And so more and more people are converting to Hellionism and are walking around with firearms. Not all of them are operational, but the rule has to be you name them. And actually, Fireflower is something you created for us in our private game with our Patreon supporters, and you absolutely still have that. Even if the exact events that led to that may or may not have happened in the same order, you have this custom-made thing that you have put together with your craft skill, because you're not just an artist, but you're a drow who served their endurance as a builder in the works and spent your time among the Spire Black, and now you've turned all that industry into artistry, and Spire Black becomes your material of choice in your performance in some way or another. Spire Black is a versatile material. It's a lubricant. It's an explosive. It's an explosive. It can also be used as gunpowder and black powder, and it's explosive. Yeah. It's very poisonous.
So I'm down here,
elbow deep in a Spire Black vat,
loving it, loving every minute of it. So that is the work I'm doing actively, but I'm also here to get to know the gnolls, that gnoll society that is hidden away, secreted away. Yeah,
the gnolls are here in Derelictus. They would move around with the Gutterkin, and they would hide away where people aren't going to really notice them too much. There's plenty of drow in Derelictus who they see and know they're not going to give a crap. And gnolls had come to Spire long before they were at war with the Aelfir. With the way things are now, it's just, are you here as a spy? Are you running? Are you a deserter? You spend enough time in Derelictus, you learn not to ask questions. And so this is a place where the unwanted can be more or less sound. And a lot of the gnolls will make their money in the fighting pits, only because that's the easiest way to make money, and everyone thinks that gnolls are bloodthirsty demon pirate fighters, and none of that's true, but they'll lean into the reputation if it means making a little extra money. And how are you working the gnolls into what you're doing? What's one gnoll in particular that you have been spending time with? We can give them a name, create a character.
Sure. So let's say Breddix.
Breddix.
And I've been working her armor.
There's a pamphlet for you, though, so there's something public going on.
I would say that the pamphlet should be a past tense thing. So
It's
that
just a
when- so it's
reminder
not-
that, I know that he's
Yeah,
here.
one night only.
Yeah.
but that it's already occurred, because
Yeah.
otherwise then we have to have that event.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
you're
whole-
so you're here in Derelictus, kind of working on a residency. This is just where you're operating like Da Vinci's workshop.
Right.
This is just
It's cheap.
one of the latest places where you've been set up and you've been constructing, and people that are applying to the Helionite Church are showing up with like Xyrie weaponry with these like ridiculous.
In 17 Shades of Spire Black.
Yeah,
Well, I also get access to the Spire Black that's coming up from the works on its way up. Because that
it'd be the other
gets
direction.
said-
We're deep.
okay.
We're far below the works,
okay,
but
okay.
there's Spire Black all through Spire.
All right.
It just cakes onto walls.
It's a different color here, though.
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
It's almost
So
pulsing.
I'm
It's
actually I am
radioactive.
here specifically for the pulsing Spire Black.
Yeah. This close to the heart,
Yeah.
things start falling apart and getting a little weird and humming. The Spire Black down here hums.
It's
in a
very
way that-
disconcerting.
Yeah, and it's possible that the Spire Black down in Derelictus is naturally occurring, where the ones up in the works is a byproduct of all the industry, right? So we're not academics and researchers, but I guarantee you there's a couple of crazy researchers from the university that are down here going like, I wonder what's going on here with the Spire Black of Derelictus compares to the Spire Black found up in New Heaven. And then it's like, why don't you lick it? And then they lick it and die. And such is the life of a researcher in Spire. That was my short story told in 2 minutes. So Bredix is trying on some new armor and wants to give it a good test. She's looking around. She's smacking it into her chest and strapping it on and going, "Looks good, little tight around the shoulder, but let's say we take this out for a spin, eh?
Lead on.
How bulletproof do you think it is?"
Well, we will find out together, won't we?
Hits
It depends what kind of bullets they're using.
you really hard. And it's like, great, let's go find a fight.
Of course.
And just as Bredix goes to the door and kicks it in, is that when you come in?
Fall in, because I'm still wounded all to hell and back.
Yeah. So you just stumble in after being like you've been running all day, and just as Bredix is going to the door and goes to kick the door, you kick the door in. You tumble into each other, and you fall down, and Bredix is like, look, someone's already gunning for a fight at me, a dirty dog.
He just kind of rolls over, goes, not again.
And just grabs you by the neck and just starts throttling, and you recognize Nharus immediately.
Yeah.
Worse for wear. You are beaten to hell and literally stepped on by a gang of thugs not too long ago.
Repeatedly.
And
Bredix, it looks like Nharus has
someone's
already found.
softened them up for us. This is going to be too easy. And goes to clock one real hard.
Too easy. The armor. No. Find another target. Nharus, join us on this adventure.
Are you going to de-escalate? How are you going to stop Bredix? Bredix is already on top.
Already
Being like,
there.
yeah, here we go. Gonna work this new gauntlet you just made.
I go to grab the gauntlet and say, I have to adjust something. The gauntlet first.
Okay.
So that will be my de-escalation move.
Okay.
I'm not a fighter.
Okay. but you got compel.
Sure.
So and technology. Roll 3 dice. 7. So you succeed at a cost. So you take that, and Bredix kind of gets. I was like, "You don't let me have any fun," and throws you to the ground, kicks the door open, and goes like, "All right, who wants to fight me?" And goes out into the street, taking your armor and all the things you worked on, and you're going to take hit to your silver.
Thanks.
Because that's how you've been paying the rent out here. And it's like, that's a lot of material that you've spent a whole week scrounging together. And Bredix just walked out without paying for it, and is apparently going to get into a fight with the first meat suit they find. And so she's going to have a fun time. And there you are, though. You and Nharus were united.
Xyrie, I had a plan. It failed. I need your help.
Well, my plan just walked out the door. Let's try and find them and catch me up.
Okay. And he sort of levers himself up using the door frame.
Yeah.
You're going to have to maybe support him a little bit when you go walking.
Yeah, you're pretty beaten up.
Yeah.
I have a cloth over my shoulder protecting me from your blood, but also another one that you can use to help your face.
Is it autographed? Is it like a monographed?
Is it? Does it have those little?
It has my symbol on it.
Has the X on it?
Yeah.
He looks at it and he tries to make sure that you don't see that he doesn't want to get blood on it.
Oh my God! Remember in the last episode I mentioned your tag is an N and a Z into a box?
Yes.
Is it just an evolved Xyrie X where you've just connected the X's into a square?
I was hoping.
But is your stupid tag just like a fanboy knockoff of the Xyrie X?
I was hoping no one would notice.
Because like the Xyrie probably looks like the key alphabet, like the Greek alphabet key that looks like an X.
Right. Yeah.
I just noticed as the GM, I see what you're doing, nerd. So you take that and you're thinking of, well, you can't stain this.
No,
I got blood. You're not gonna get blood all over it.
Save that. He gently and like reverently folds it into very neat bits and puts it in one of his many pockets.
Excellent. So you can add to your equipment an original piece of Xyrie cloth.
Huh.
Yeah, X cloth. It does nothing to help your stress.
Oh no.
Speaking of which, though, you can refresh your stress, Xyrie, whenever someone feels deeply moved when they witness your art. And a reminder, Nharus, you need to uncover hidden information to refresh your stress. Or you can just lay low and let time pass. That would be interesting.
That would be.
Sounds like everyone's laying low right now. So
yeah, no, I'm just going to
let's just see what happens when Harvest doesn't have any opposition. So you head out into the street and you see down there's an appendix that has a whole list of where are we getting drunk tonight. So I'm going to find the name of the pub that Brettix has walked herself into.
Don't roll a 9. That pub
is that where you got this face?
That pub, no, different pub, but that one's dead. There's a really weird gutterkin there, and that's about it.
Yeah, we can't go there. It's the smoking hole. It's the smoking hole, and it actually looks like it's two big barrels, old smokestacks that had fallen over that have been connected together and mud and mortar, bringing it together into like this little tavern that looks like two shotgun barrels pointing out. And the hearth inside that's going kind of smokes out the front door, so it rises out the front door like a smoking barrel, and so that's where it gets the smoking hole. But it's really just built out of two factory smokestacks that have collapsed, and then the whole thing's been like just repurposed into this like. Think Derelictus is very much the Sector 7 slums in Final Fantasy. That's what I'm going for. Everything's just built out of something that was left behind, and it's all just like, corrugated metal and wood and mud huts all kind of next to each other, and you can only see so far in front of you before the haze and the fog and the pollution cover things up, and it's all like green lantern light and people carrying lanterns and matches and candles with them wherever they go. So you can see Brettix's footprints. Noel have wider feet than others, so they're quite easy to track, and stomp out directly into the smoking hole. And if you weren't sure if they're in there right now, you are when you hear a crash and a small, and part of the wall of the smoking hole collapses like drywall as someone is thrown out of it, and you hear like, "Yeah, come at me, you idiot!"
Oh no.
Yeah, we're going to need that to burn itself out. So, how are you?
Not great. I've been better. Thanks for asking. I tried to find a subtle way to bring down the harvest, but we're out of time. I'm thinking more direct methods might be needed.
I don't know that Brother Hellion has enough gunfire to take it outside of Derelictus.
I was thinking more of a surgical strike with something large and angry, and he's gesturing towards the smoking barrel at this point.
Get them riled up enough. I'm sure we could put enough bodies like a trail toward where you want to lead. Who's the target?
Well, Brother Harvest, of course. There's no love between him and the Knolls.
Right.
There's another crash and a smash and a "Who wants some?" And they just hear like, I guess the proprietor inside going, "Please, Braddock's not tonight, please."
Should we maybe intervene?
Tonight's always a good night for a fight. Grabbing the bartender and throwing him across, like sliding like across the his own bar, head through all the through all the things, and then just like bouncer tossed the bartender out the door of their own bar.
Nharus is having flashbacks to earlier in the evening.
And then the bartender smacks into the mud and just looks up and sees both of you, and she's like, "Is anyone gonna help me? I'm a victim here. I'm a small business owner."
I think we can help you out.
Nharus offers them a hand up, a fairly shaky one, but
You look a little rough for wear, but I don't know if you look like much of a fighter.
There are other ways to turn this around.
And there's a bit of a crowd going, and there's just sort of like, there's no city watch, so it's just people like more or less cheering it on and just seeing another place just kind of fall into chaos.
How much? We're thirsty. Can you help us with that? We can help you with your...
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you?
She's wrecking my joint in there.
She's going to destroy it completely.
I'll give you whatever you want, I guess. I got nothing to offer. I'm barely making it work as I can, but you want to rob me blind while I'm in my time of need?
No. I'm thinking that we have a party to celebrate afterward.
Just get in there and fix it. Or don't.
After you.
Well then, I am going to enter.
You by the time you get into the bar, I mean, Bredix has dispatched most of the patrons and is lying on a body of unconscious bodies, so they can reach over the bar and pull a tap from one of the casks and fills up a big jug and brings it over and sees it going in. It's like, "Xyrie, there you go. I saved you a seat," and pushes another body over.
I think the armor
Gotta
works.
say, there's a bit of a flaw in the armor, though. And picks it up, and the one gauntlet is like cracked all the way down and is broken off, and there seems to be a bit of it fractured into the skull of what looks to be a knight of the South Docks lying on the ground. Their sword is dented and cracked as well from where the gauntlet met the blade of the sword, and it just sundered it.
Oh dear. Can I have a look at that? I'm actually going to try and see if I can figure out how to make it better.
Hey, again, it's worthless.
He's going to look and see if he can figure out what the flaw is with the gauntlet.
The flaw is they punched a sword.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I shouldn't do that.
Bredix, you had a good time. How would you like to take some of that energy and put it toward someone bigger? Someone who's going to not hit back with a sword, but you're going to feel it more than this.
You're speaking quite cryptically there, Xyrie. You're thinking they're going to sign me up for the arena again?
Oh, no.
Listen, they're not interested in being beaten up by a girl. We've already been through this. I go in there, I win everything. We take too much money from them, and then they don't let me sign up anymore. So, yeah, screw the arena.
Do you want to keep fighting in the arena? Because we can make that happen. I have something better.
Where's this existential crisis coming from? I don't have any plan. What do you think I'm down here for?
Bredix, did you fight in the war?
What's it to you?
Do you want to fight in a new one?
Don't want to fight in a new war. I'm in the bowels of Spire, hiding out from every gnoll, drow, and elf that looks my way, getting into fights wherever I can. What
Getting into fights?
Just get to it already.
We want you to help us take somebody out in Middle City.
You might be familiar with him from your time, from your service. He's in it.
We want you to kill Harvest.
You are going to have to roll 1d10 because you have nothing to stop you from dodging the jug she has just thrown at you.
10.
Okay. So you see her wind up and just throw the mug right at you, like with the intent to harm. And you move out of the way, and it's like, we're done here. and throws herself off the body and begins stomping off. And you can keep your blasted faulty false armor as it is anyway. Wasn't interested in your experiments. I'm not going to be your art project. And starts throwing everything onto the ground and just leaves it.
Wait.
Wait.
It's like, and it just kind of smacks your hand. Like, I don't know where you're coming from, you cloth little bloody man, but I'm not here to do any of your fighting. I'm not here to save your blasted city. I'm not here to do any of this. And you drop that name in my presence again, and I'll kill you.
So you know him?
Yeah, I know him. Bloody monster.
So,
I have nothing to do with it, and I'm not getting involved.
If you don't get involved, it's not saving our lives, it's saving yours.
My life doesn't need saving. Look where I am.
He's not going to be satisfied in Middle City. He will come down here, too.
He's not gonna come down here.
He's not.
People like that, they're only looking in one direction.
That direction involves him pleasing the Aelfir, and if things go wrong down here and continue to go the way they're going with the Church of Hellion, he'll be coming for here next. That's probably like a compelling roll, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're only going to get 2 dice.
2 dice, yeah. That makes sense. That's a 7.
So it's success at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to cost your silver.
Hmm.
You're not speaking my language. I'm not a freedom fighter. I don't care about what's happening to you or your people. You want to hire me for a job? Then let's talk business like professionals.
Oh.
You want to pay me for my services? Then we're having the right conversation. But if you want to appeal to my higher sense of morality, I don't know what to say. I'm 4 foot tall. I don't care about hire anything.
Sorry, I'm not used to these sorts of transactions.
I am. Name a number and we'll double it.
Oh, no.
No?
He's paying me. And I also know half of your stuff is counterfeit.
Are you... He's... Nharus is very offended on behalf.
Yeah, I need to make a roll to stop from having it.
Until the end of the next session, you are going to lose the use of one piece of equipment that is important to you.
Oh boy, I don't have that much to begin with. I do have an original...
You have an original Xyrie that is completely worthless to Brettix. What Brettix is interested in is that's a fine little crossbow you got there. What is that? It's an unusual design. Starts going up and starts like plucking at it. Collapsible. One shot. There. Tell you what, you pay me with this plus whatever silver you've got in your pocket. I'm looking at you too. I'll take you up on your offer. I can always use a little extra sten, and yeah, all right, we can use it. And also a little bit better if you're using a drow weapon against a drow, then they're looking for me. And while normally one session would be 4 hours, so it's going to be a number of episodes.
Oh boy.
Where you will lose access to your
crossbow
only weapon.
Yep.
Until you find another. You can go and purchase weapons too. You have money. You all have money. That's what your silver stress is for. So if you want to buy weapons or equipment, you've also got access to your dead drop if you need to.
Yeah.
But there's a bit, it's also got, I mean, there's some sentimental value to that as well. So it's like,
it's got me out of some jams.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get me out of a jam too. Namely the jam that you're hiring me to get myself involved in, like I'm some kind of sandwich jam of jelly.
Blink, blink. Nharus is sore. He's tired. Everything hurts. He sighs and hands over the crossbow.
Snatch it out of your hand. Hey, if we're doing this, we're going to need a team. So I'll meet you in the morning, and you're going to save my brothers.
Wait, what?
Yep. All my brothers that are being held up in the arena. We're going to break them out first. Yeah! And just kicks the door open and heads out.
It's still working better than Plan A.
We need to get you bandaged up. If we're going to go on a rescue mission, we may also need a team to back us up.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to use your hidden cache
to get
of medical supplies?
Yes, I think that would be a good use of my time and abilities.
Yep. once per session, so it's the same deal as what I just did to you. So what you did is you just suffered fallout.
Yep.
You took too much. Now, because you suffered fallout, I'm going to roll to see how much stress you have refreshed.
Right.
So, congratulations, you got the maximum amount of refresh you can get.
Sweet.
So,
wow.
your as much as it sucks to have lost your crossbow, it doesn't actually affect your finances. Right?
Right.
It's sentimental. So, having lost the crossbow and suffering that fallout, in perspective, your finances are fine. So your silver is restored. And there's a weight off of your shoulders of not having to have a lethal weapon on your belt now. I mean, there's just, you're just going to die. So you take a little less of your stress to your mind.
Okay.
And Brettix gives you a time to meet. When you're ready, just make sure we get out of here. Give us a way out. I know you know all those secret passages, eh? Gives you a wink.
A way out is something I can provide. Before we go to do that, I do want to investigate.
All right, come with me, cutie, looking at the crossbow and runs off.
I'm going to miss that thing.
You're never going to see it again.
Nope. Before we go on our rescue mission, there is one thing I'd like to look into, which is how I'm going to get these gnolls into where the harvest is. There may be a way.
Yeah, like secreting a small little group of gnoll guerrilla warfighters.
It's not going to be easy.
Through several districts and checkpoints from like Derelictus and Middle City are not next to each other.
No.
They are countries apart. That's a lot of ladders and pulley systems to like hide a bunch of gnolls in a trench coat. Right? Like someone's gonna see. You might be able to get like a bird, maybe a boat. I don't know how we get up all that way.
I'm wondering if there's a way
Secret.
through the Vermissian to get most of the way there.
A hilarious pneumatic tube. There's always a way to the Vermissian, and that's what the Vermissian kind of helps with. But anyone who enters through a back door that you offer them will have to roll mind stress.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they're gnolls and they took my favorite crossbow. I don't care as long as they make it there.
Yeah. Surviving the Vermissian way might be its own peril. So you would have to rush through, because it's one thing for a lone urban explorer to work their way through the way. A group of noisy little soldiers
will attract attention.
Attracts attention of all the other things that would rather the Vermissian way stay quiet, where they like to hide. Because Derelictus is a place where people like what you've met are hiding in. The Vermissian is a place where other things hide for similar motivations. So you've heard stories of insectoid monsters and a train that never stops running, and time and effect not always happening in the right order. So there's that bit. So it's not without its risk, and it might be an hilarious romp.
Yep.
But it would certainly be a shortcut.
It's a shortcut.
Yep.
I don't have an answer for I'll say yes to that adventure. I actually am thinking about the rescue plot.
Yes.
There's a bit of, we talked in advance of working it out, and Brettix has ranted a lot during your little Suda obsessions that the arena is known for a place where a lot of gnolls fight, and some are there voluntarily, but it's also, I think, gladiatory places where some are prisoners of war, and gnolls that were defeated or captured, brought to Spire and paraded around, and then when they got bored of parading around these war prizes, were discarded and sold off to Mr. Winters or the Threadneedle sisters, who then made money using them in the fighting pits. And so these gnolls may or may not be the reason Brettix came to Spire in the first place. Brettix is, on one hand, painted as a deserter, but on the other hand might be here for her own motivations to free these POWs that are fighting in this arena. And nothing says quite like a victory of freeing my brothers captured, like shooting up the place on their way out. And so if you lead them out on this thing and kick the hornet's nest, as it were, up in Middle City, that they'll get the first Sky Whale out of here at their first opportunity and leave. So this is the napalm option.
Yep.
So
It sure is.
there's collateral when stuff like this goes down, but that's the rumors and the situation of what's going on. And that's I think what Braddock's is thinking. And is a mercenary for hire, happy to take the money to help pay for the journey when they leave. And if not, well, then they'll go down blazing.
So for me,
They take a little chunk of Spire with them, that'll show them.
it is time to stir up some chaos, creative chaos, of course, with a party. And so, like to just
Like a tailgate party outside the arena?
outside and the inside, like have people
Like spill into the arena.
Well, have people betting and like carousing and like just inspire people to be freer, and that requiring any stadium guards to manage the crowd as much as the prisoners.
So you're using life and soul of the party,
Right.
which allows you to create an instant gathering.
Yes.
And I think it's sort of like, come see, the historical recreation of the Battle of Flaming Horse Pass, where the gnolls were defeated by the Elfer lords, and the sort of like the Roman arena would do, like the Colosseum would do that all the time. They do historical reenactments. I say with like fingers,
Yes, yeah.
and so there's this bit of carnival sideshow, see the savage gnoll, right? Live in their animalistic, but it's all clickbait, right? And so
Yes.
come and participate.
But with the exit strategy of basically Sound of Music, where they one by one they're disappearing off and out of the stadium, out of the arena. So that's the tactic of it, or the strategy of it.
I'm going to use my mental directory to try and figure out the best way to smuggle them out of the arena.
I was going to say that, or using the vault to investigate any subject,
Right.
which in this case the subject could be
would
the
be-
prisoners, and you could use that to see.
How to get them out.
Yeah. But like if you can get into the arena. Oh, okay. Roll mental directory. I've got an answer for you.
Yeah.
Roll
Okay.
investigate an occult.
Investigate and occult. Yeah, let's do a separate one.
I'll tell you the answer. I don't have to tell you the
No,
answer.
you don't have
I
to.
don't have to tell you the answer. But in this case, you're not gonna like the answer.
Oh boy. That's a 7 again.
It's a 7. Yeah. So take 1 point of stress.
Okay.
To your mind, because you're not gonna like the answer. You can get them out of the arena, but you're not gonna get them out of the arena. You're gonna secret them out a back door
Oh no.
in the arena.
Oh, there's a back door in the arena. That's not good.
There is. It's the door that they bring people out of the ground. If you can get in there, and you can there's a rock that you can twist, and if you can get it, you can reopen the trap door, and it will drop you into a back door. But there's no time for you to teach anyone the incantation or the runic lore, or to know which stone is the right stone and which one, because if you knock the wrong one out, the door will be deactivated and it won't open for another 24 hours. So that's why you take 1 point of mind stress. You're like, God damn it, I am sore.
I hurt.
So the party will work as a great deception. The gnolls aren't going to leave the walls of the arena because the back door is inside the arena itself.
So they can guard all the doors they want.
But it means you're going to have to get in on it.
Yeah.
So it's good news that the person who's organizing the match and setting up the party is going to be casting you in the historical role of Harvest.
Oh, that's perfect.
Are we okay with that? Do you like
yes,
that?
absolutely.
That's lovely.
And you'll recreate his crowning battle, turning the tide against... I called it the Battle of Flaming Horse Pass because it was the name of a very old Dungeons & Dragons game I played back in high school, where he
Single-handedly.
actually lit his own horse on fire and sent it into the barracks of the gnolls, and in their panic and scattering and horror of what they would do to their own animals, he turned it. I don't know if that's actually what happened. It's a terrible thing to do to a horse. That's your mental directory. You're like, God.
Well, that's what I gotta do.
You knew there was a back door somewhere in the arena.
But it had to
It
be
actually
there.
is right in the center of it.
Of course it is.
That would explain the smell in the Vermissian way whenever you go past Junction 7.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't go there.
There was
going to
be a train stop, and they ended up turning it into the arena. Okay,
Nice.
This is a good plan.
I mean, it's a good plan until we get into the
arena.
Vermissian.
Go into the Vermissian, yeah.
Bredix, do you want to let's do a little retcon here. This plan is being made in your flat, and Bredix is there the whole time. So as a GM, I've been talking about it, going like, "This is a good plan. This is gonna be great. We're gonna kick in so many heads." What do we do about the fighters we're up against? Because there's other drow that will be serving in the role of harvest soldiers who
Right.
are themselves all usually people that are indebted to people, usually Mr. Winters, let's be honest here. They're going to be out fighting too. They probably won't be given any weapons.
Oh boy.
And the gnolls aren't usually given any weapons either. It's just there's a dropped in the middle and there's a run for it.
There's a brawl.
Do you want to bring him with us?
I mean, can I just kill them?
Honestly, yeah. I don't think they'd come with us.
All right. Well, there we are. I will sign myself up as a volunteer fighter for your great and wonderful recreation of the Battle of Harvest. Very offensive. And I'll tell them the plan. Usually the jailers don't speak Gnoll, so they won't understand what we're saying anyways. And you'll show us the way. Isn't that right, little crossbolt boy?
Yes, I will, for better or for worse. Also, I think it'll be a fun point that the Harvest will lose the Battle of Flaming Horse Pass in front of a whole lot of fans.
Yeah, I'm gonna like that part too. I can't promise that they're going to not get into it.
You're going to take a few hits.
Yeah, it might get a little hairy. Not all of the gnolls in the arena are in her detachment. They're not all POWs. There are other volunteers that are there. There are other people that actually just lean into it. And the more blood they draw, the more they get paid that day. And so you're going to have to deal with gladiators that are there, professional gladiators that are there that you won't be able to get them out. Bredix will make sure every member of her detachment is wearing a red armband. And that'll identify them as ours. Everyone else, watch out or fight back or get stabbed and die. Honestly, I can't save you. So
that legit might happen at this point.
Good luck.
And you're going to be the MC?
I will be the MC, yes.
Because when the arena proprietor found out that Xyrie wanted to host a historical reenactment of the Battle of Harvest, of the Battle of Harvest Moon. There we are. Of the Battle of Harvest Moon.
Oh, man.
Then, I mean, they just couldn't say no, right? Like, they couldn't. I don't think contractually they're allowed to. So, like, are you kidding? That's Xyrie. What's Xyrie even doing in Derelict? Just, I don't know, but just say yes. And so, I'm just treating them like the two owners of the opera from Phantom of the Opera. Like, completely in over their head. And so they'll be watching in the Statler and Waldorf box. And I see the arena as being just a very wooden circular coliseum out in, beyond Red Row in a place. There's a big stalactite that comes down from the cavern wall that kind of looks down. So there's people that will get up onto that and look around. Very Thunderdome, right? And they'll get around. So those who can't afford the stands get up into the stalactites and hang around. And sometimes, something falls and breaks, they fall and die, and it's like the crash of a NASCAR game, right? It's not a good day at the arena unless a stalactite takes out a street urchin. So it's a whole thing. And so the morning of, it's coming and just like, home, home, home. You can kind of hear like the stomping and the party and the tailgate party's been going on outside the arena, and the tickets are going in and you're being brought in. It's all going, and you're being brought in as Rocky, man. Like this is not a job. This is a job for the knight that no one wanted to play.
Yep. And I am the wrong person to be doing this, but here
but
I
you're
am.
the only one who knows how that door works.
Yep.
You're the only one, and
so I will stand up and say, I am the Harvest.
And Bredix is like, don't worry, we'll throw our punches, we'll do our best to like keep an eye around you. It's just like wrestling. It's just like a wrestling show. It's just like a strongman show. We'll be fine.
I've read about that once.
Just, I've only ever accidentally broken a neck once.
Out of how many attempts?
In my defense, only one time. So it's not something that I do a lot.
Statistically, that's not looking good.
Statistically, I don't want you throwing math in my face. Or I'm going to have a different idea of what this is, and maybe I'll take that prize money after all.
You know, it's fine.
You just get that door open, you get my boys out of here.
That I can do.
And then there's like a howl. Let's do this! And,
Are you ready?
No.
and she heads off to like the side-in desk. And they like, well, here you go, here's your helmet. Signing off like, you promise not to hold the arena, personally responsible should you suffer any loss of life and limb or in the occurrence of your death, your next of kin will not be notified, and we take under no duress any expectation that we will have to take on to any debts that you have left unpaid. And it's like big old friggin' sign-up sheet.
He reads all the terms and conditions because that's the kind of person that he is. It's in subsection
we're
2.
Alive.
There's a bit about fingers.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
But I want to retain ownership of my digits.
A spindly little business drow with like little bifocals on and a little necktie tied up a little too high and like, well, we're living.
That might not be for much longer.
First time in the arena.
Yes.
Probably your last time too, by the looks of it. I'll make sure to bet against you, son.
Please do.
Excellent.
He signs at the bottom. Finally, it's fair enough.
And what about you, Meze? Are you going to be participating as well?
I'm going to bet against him as well.
Excellent.
That hurts on a deep level that you may never know.
I'll be putting you on 1 to 20 odds. We'll be putting that up. Best of luck, but not too much luck, of course.
Of course.
Okay. And
I'm going to take my place up in the stand.
Can I say? Back room A, you'll see an assortment of armor and defensive items. Choose at your leisure. Should you survive, you will return them to the appropriate place for cleaning and accoutrement. We will hold any thefts personally against you, which may or may not result in you in a 10-year durance in service to Mr. Winters.
Noted.
And then there's like a big bang. Just like, next! That's the only time the little spindly drow makes any loud noise, is that one word, and then you...
Jumps.
And so the two of you separate different ways, and you're going off to the main stage.
Absolutely.
And then you go into the room, and as soon as you walk into the room, there's just fighters. Professional gladiators. Like, you just walked into, like, the locker room of every jock nightmare you've ever had.
Which is a lot. The Vermisian doesn't scare me.
And the room kind of goes a little quiet at first because they were talking and they're like, and there, some of them were just kind of professional. They're just like tying their boots up and they just kind of look at you and they look down and one person just kind of starts laughing and it starts to spread through the room. And one of them's like, so what do they call you, small fry?
For today, the harvest.
And then they're dying. They are laughing. There are tears coming to their eyes. They're like, no, seriously, no. Like,
no,
who are you?
No, really.
And they're like, is this for real? And I was like, and when someone shrugs, and then the person kind of gets up, smashes his hand into the wall. Is this for real? This is what we're fighting against? I've been in this arena for 2 years, and I've never been top billing.
I recommend a union.
Who did you piss off?
Quite a number of people, as it turns out.
And there's another one going like, I'm going to stab you in the back when you're not looking. And then it goes off for a shower.
What was his name?
There was Avalanche, there was Boulder, there was Rockdozer, there was Barreler, and then the one back there is just known as Pierce.
Just Pierce?
Yeah, and that's because he pierces things with all of his knives.
Lovely.
He's sharpened his fingernails down into like scalpel thin, and
nice.
And he actually just takes a little bit and he just does it on his own cheek just to show how sharp it is.
Lovely.
And then he just turns back into like where he's getting his boots on.
I am noting his name for later very carefully. Now I have a name.
No.
Assuming I make it out of here.
No. And then you hear outside, you're there and, like, Meze and Mete and Drow and Human, welcome one and all to the greatest show in Thunderspire. At this point, like, there should be, like, big wheel trucks going around with like Sunday. This isn't happening here, and it's just like boom, boom, boom,
Spire Black fireworks.
And then first, of course, the prisoners brought in, the bad guys, the villains of this story. I mean, do you want to narrate how this plays out? Yeah. Give the idol good their due.
Leading them out is one of the guards, which is just one of the other gladiators. Mm-hmm. He's dressed up as and has what would be a whip if it actually worked, but it looks like and he's like bringing them out, and I am helping the crowd to boo heartily for the gnolls, for the evil and treacherous gnolls that will soon face
and the other members of the crowd like derisively, like they woof at them. And it's just real racist. It's bad.
And of course, the gnolls have their heads down, and you do see some of them like
fruit being thrown, some little blood mushrooms that they picked up from Threadneedle Square, and
they're taking it at this point, but not all of them. The ones who weren't part of the POW aren't necessarily as happy about this going on. There's
a few professional gnoll fighters in there that are like they lean into being the heel, they lean into being the bad guy. Yeah. They're like their teeth, they're snarling and they're barking back at the kid. They snatch a toy out of a kid's hand, bit in their teeth and smash it to pieces and spit it back, and they're like, ah!
That little kid is both, there's tears in their eyes, but also this excitement that they got engaged with.
Yeah, they're peeing themselves, but also from excitement.
And then, of course, the mighty drow come out, the soldiers of Horse's Pass? No, of Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon, yes.
Come out, and then, now, are you ready for the hero?
And someone up in the stalactite rope thing like turns a mirror that catches a light from another torch and then pops down like a big bright light, and a spotlight comes down on the room.
Make some noise for the hero of Harvest Moon.
I am the harvest. And that's kind of weak and sad, actually.
Okay. Hold on. Roll me 2 dice.
Okay. Those are both 5s.
That's all going into your reputation.
Oh, no.
People are going to remember you. Are you hiding your identity in any way?
I'm trying to. I mean, not necessarily successfully, but...
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So there's a couple of options here. One of them is humiliated. You make a total fool of yourself. You can't make use of any allies associated with the action that pushed you into follow until you prove it. That's fine, but not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking vendetta. During the next session, or later in this one, an NPC from this session will return with a vendetta against you.
Oh, that's more fun. That's way more fun.
For sure.
And we've already established how much these other professional gladiators do not want you here.
No, I'm taking all their...
And people are like, yeah! Whoa. But the camera turns to the pit where the other drow fighters are standing ready to enter into the fight. And they're starting to talk with themselves like, we take him out first, right? Fucking right, we take him out first. We take down Harvest, we take that helmet, we change history tonight, boys. And they're like, hell yeah. And all 6 of them start like sharpening their knives. And they're just, fuck this guy. Yeah. Who does he think he is? Coming in here, taking our spotlight and our stand and our prize money and our glory?
I worked at this for years, and nobody comes in off the streets.
We're going to show what happens when people think they can take our arena away from us.
Fighter scabs.
Yeah, so that's exactly the fallout that's immediately happening. And so because of that, you'll also you'll refresh. In fact, the crowd is getting to you so much. It actually, you feel invigorated. All those bruises and beat-ups and nonsense you've been taking, I'm going to clear 4 from your body. So that brings it down. Your reputation is still taking a hit.
Oh yeah,
but you're feeling.
I'm feeling like the harvest.
Real good. Yeah, you're feeling real good, and you're believing it, and you're just like flexing, and you're moving, and you're under like harvest helmet and harvest armor, and you got your sickle, and it's all like yeah, and then there's a big boom, gong goes off, and the cage that the gnolls were behind drops down, and you just hear like. And barking and snapping and growling and running and charging as the drow behind you go charge and start running into the center where you are standing in your spotlight. What do you do?
Well, the guys behind me don't like me. The guys in front of me are actually safer.
No, except for a handful of the ones that don't like you.
I am looking for red armbands, and I'm going to make like the wind for whatever the largest concentration of red armbands is.
You see Breddix with a red armband tied to the tip of their spear, right? So it's up like a flag, and they're just like, ah! And they're pointing forward, and there's you can see about half of the gnolls that are there have matching armbands, and they're coming at, but this is moving a lot faster and a lot more chaotic, and it's dirty, and there's lights, and there's a spotlight in your eyes now, and people are like, harvest, harvest, and also there's pointy knives coming behind you
at me from multiple directions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run towards the ones that are the least pointy.
Yeah,
if possible.
Yeah, I mean you could just run right for
the rock, I guess.
Breddix,
or the most
right
obvious.
For the trapdoor,
which is closer.
That sounds like an investigative roll.
It does. All right. So I will roll investigate.
Yeah, you don't have low society or crime or anything to help you out with this.
Nope.
So I think this isn't... your domains aren't going to come in handy here.
No, definitely not. So 8.
8 does it.
Nice.
What do you want to be closer?
The door, actually, would be better.
I mean, that's great, because you're standing on it.
Oh.
That's what you came out of it. And that's what's so interesting, is you were raised out of the trap door, and that's going to be your exit out. And it's going to look like you're going back down, but you're not.
But I'm not.
Right. You're going to a different place. So you just got to find the right rock, but they just put fresh hay down.
Crap.
So you got to get down on your hands and knees. You got to find the rock. You got to find the rock with a little runic symbol that looks like a little X with a little square written around it.
That may or may not be copywritten.
It may or may not be copywritten. May not have been left by you in the future to be sent to the past. Don't worry about it. But there's a little... We just know that as the sigil of the answer.
There's an answer down there somewhere.
It's a Deus Ex sigil,
yes.
And you just it's actually an X. It's a Day of X sigil, and it's there on the stone, and you just you're gonna have to. I mean, there's a fight coming
at me.
Xyrie, what are you doing?
I'm making every move that Nharus is making. I am describing them in the most eloquent, flowery way to make it seem like this is exactly what Harvest did on that day.
Gaze as the harvest gazes upon the battlefield and takes it all in.
He throws aside his weapon, for he does not need it.
He is on his knees praying to the god of the sun.
And lo did Harvest tell him to search the hay. So you're scrambling and you're scrambling.
That'd probably be another investigate roll, I assume.
I'm going to say you need to... This is going to happen in stages.
Okay.
You need to find the rock. You need to activate
The rock.
the trap.
Right.
You need to gather the correct rolls that you're trying to save, and you need to lead them to the trap, because then it's one kick of the bucket,
And it's all...
going to open up and drop whoever's in the square down into the Vermissian way, and you want to make sure it's the correct ones.
Yes. Being in the Vermissian with those drow would not be good for anyone.
So there's a couple of things. So it's going to mean some consecutive successes and possibly negotiating through some fallout as things like that happen. That said, what are you doing about the ones that are running at you with intent to kill?
Right, because I have no one else near me, right?
You're all kind of... So as you're running around, there's like a knife is thrown and it hits the and it sticks into the dirt, and like and just as that, you see like a shadow come over you, blocking the spotlight that was shining down on you. As there's, I don't know, he's gonna say some real bad one-liner. You can't hear it over the din, so it's completely lost. You just hear, and anyway, you gotta
roll out of the way.
It's combat.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and roll out of the way.
Yeah, you don't have fight.
No, I don't.
You don't have anything to do.
No.
So go ahead, roll out of the way. Run dice.
5.
You roll into the way.
Yeah. It's a good thing I cleared some of that stress.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Boyo. Oh, boyo.
Uh-oh.
So you've got a lot of stress.
Yes.
You have suffered moderate fallout.
Oh, boy.
And this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
And it might require your intervention, and it's certainly going to need Redix to get involved in this. They come in and throw your attacker off of you, but while you are scrambling around on the on the ground, the guy he comes up to you, and he doesn't come down with his spear. He comes onto your back with his boot, and he sees your arm, and he just throws his foot onto your arm and breaks it.
Ooh.
And what this means is, under the strain, your bones break. You cannot use your left arm until it heals, which will take up to a month or require powerful healing magic.
Wow. Okay.
So that's
intense.
We're not dealing with hit points here.
Yeah.
It's you're disabled with this arm. With that said, you don't have any stress, because all that stress just went into your broken arm.
Right.
So that's cleared everything out, and you're refreshed, as it were. But you're dealing with this vendetta of these. You think you can come in here and take this job? Let me show you what it's really like out here in the arena. And it's just, you feel this pressure and this push, and then crack. And just searing pain shooting through you. And you're lying there on the ground, and the whole crowd is like, they don't fucking care if this is historically accurate or not. They just saw some guy's arm break.
Yeah.
That's so, take his legs. And just as that happens, though, the gnolls reach, and they hit her, and you just hear, and they come in, and you see knives and spears and hammers and claws and teeth, and everything just comes at you, and there's blood, and there's gross, and there's everything around you, and you're all underneath all of this.
Whoa.
And roll investigate.
Do better this time, Dice.
You've only got one arm.
That's a 5 again.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay, Xyrie, he needs your help.
Absolutely.
Roll one more die to represent your bond with the gnolls.
Right.
They're helping you out.
That is a 7.
Okay. So you're getting trampled on, and you're taking some more blood stress. You gotta be careful not to cut that up.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're stepping on my already broken arm.
but as you're doing that, like your already broken arm and then your good arm, you find a wiggle of a rock, you push it away, and you see the Day of X sign. And there it is, carved just into this little stone, and it's just a little pressure, and you just gotta turn it, and it'll click, and you can feel the pressure of the trapdoor just change just a bit. The air pressure underneath it has shifted. You can almost make out the green glow through the crack in the floor.
It smells old suddenly.
And you hear Braddock's go like, "How you doing down there, Squish Pants?"
I think I've got it.
And then you hear like a whinny whistle, but it's clearly like a code that kind of cuts through the sound like a and very hyena sound, like that kind of like a laughing yip. And then you hear just throughout the return call sign, and they begin to form rank and form a circle around you, and they've got spears out, and you're underneath all of this, and no one can see where the harvest has gone, and the drow are on the outside and the gnolls are on the inside, and there's the professional ones that are moving about and they're kicking around, and you, Xyrie, you can't tell what's going on. You just see the red armbanded gnolls begin to form rank.
We hadn't established if there was a signal
No, it's true. We didn't do that.
to get me down there as well. So I'm going to assume that's it.
Yeah.
Given that you're hidden.
There's
given
lots
that
of
Nharus is-
flags and rope lines going over the, crisscrossing the arena if you want to zip line your way in, or
I absolutely have to. I want to shoot off the fire flower as I'm
like a
kind
flare
of
gun.
backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like backwards. I'm shooting it backward into the arena. Or
it shoots
like,
up into the stalactite and it
Right.
hits the spotlight. Ka-ping!
Yeah.
And part of the stalactite begins to crack a bit, and people are holding onto ropes as the pegs ping out, and people are like, "Oh, there's a stalactite!"
Yep.
And
It's all about the pomp and circumstance, and that's a circumstance. So and then drop down into. the arena.
roll one die. You don't have anything to help you,
Oh,
or actually distract, right?
Deceit?
Does this count
Or-
as a distraction that you just did?
well,
So-
I am. Yes, I absolutely.
Yeah, so you
am,
roll
yeah.
with mastery, so you'll roll 2 die because you're using life and soul of the party.
Yes.
That's amazing.
7.
This is one thing that the idol doesn't get a lot of versatile dice at the by default, but as they use their powers,
They
they
get more
get
dice.
mastery and things they otherwise
That's
shouldn't
true.
get.
That's cool.
Right? So distraction. What did you roll?
A 7.
A 7. So this is louder than you're used to, and what this is going to get to is people see. They don't realize the man playing the harvest is Nharus, the Vermissian Sage. No one knows who the fuck that Vermissian Sage is. People know who Xyrie is. And they're going to be talking about it for weeks, about the night Xyrie vanished in front of them all with a small group of gnolls in the middle of the arena in one of the greatest disappearing act performances in recent Spire memory,
Uh-oh.
which takes a hit to your secrecy, to your shadow. Does anyone else notice what went on? That's not a 0, that's a 10, so I think you're fine. Not this day. So you slide down. What are you wearing? You're wearing
I am wearing the latest in stadium arena fighting wear, but it's all designer looking.
so it's just like haute couture chain mail.
Yeah. It's just chainmail.
But really pretty chainmail.
Of course.
Yeah, it's real form fitting.
Yes.
So it just catches on
It's
all the
too
skin.
form building.
It's Spire black. It's like refined Spire black metallic rings.
Yeah.
So it's all like black with like almost starlight woven in through it, and it shines in the light and in the fire of the flare that you've shot up.
May I add something into
As the
that? So it is the
stalactites.
Spire Black, but there is an X, and that's what shines. That's what catches in like a silver or something.
Yes.
As opposed, yeah.
Yep.
And you just launch yourself out into the air, and you have like one of those flag strings that are grabbed, and you just swing down into the middle. But it works, but it also is like there's not secret what you've done tonight. there's people in this audience, members of authority, guards who are watching the two owners of the arena, Staldarf and Wattler, who are up there and who see all of this go on. Just as you then land in the middle and hear Braddock's be like, "Anytime now, Squish Pants!"
So I'm going to try and activate the Vermission, which I assume is another roll.
I mean, you can throw in your occult and occult and investigate.
Sure.
But you don't have to roll for it. What happens is you just declare, right, once per session, that you find an entrance to the vault, no matter where you are in Spire.
I have found one in the middle of an arena. In the middle of a fight.
Who enters the vault must roll resist or occult or suffer mind stress. So I'll let you roll resist or occult, of which they have none. So I'll let you roll one die for the gnolls.
Okay.
And you, Xyrie, need to roll one die as well. Oh, no, two, because you have occult.
They rolled a 6.
Yeah.
Dice are not kind.
I also have a 6.
A 6 is a success at a cost.
Okay.
So they will take stress to their mind. And so the door opens and a beam of green light shoots out into the arena hall as everyone just drops down and falls into, like, gravity isn't playing right because you fall onto the floor, which is on the wall of the thing you just fell down into, and you start tumbling and rolling as the sounds and the smells and the air pressure and the temperature, it all shifts at once. And it kind of like, for everyone in the arena, it looks like the ghost trap went out and you almost kind of like sucked in. And I like maybe part of the, there was the stalactite that was starting to fall.
The mirror comes with it.
Cracks and comes down, and it sticks itself into the hole, into the back door at the same time, and the mirror pops out and is rolling down. It comes to a stop at your feet with the stalactite just as the door closes, and the chute just severs it like the T-Rex in our Tales of the Loop game. They closed the portal on its head, and its head got severed off, and it just and so part of the rock is like burning. It's all heated up, and the sounds of the arena are like and it just stops, and all you hear is just the cavernous whine of the Vermissian Way, and the hallway you're in twists and goes upside down and kind of moves around, very Alice in Wonderlandy like. And the gnolls that have gone in are like, they're freaking out, right? They're just and Braddock is able to calm them down, but there's one person who's like, holding his head, and others just like there's like a little bit of blood coming out of their nose, and they live, but they're shaken up, and they're really disoriented, and they don't know where the things are. They're like, they haven't gotten their sea legs,
right?
And
it'll be a while.
Braddock's just kind of like, what the hell have you taken us into?
Welcome to the Spire's public transit system. Closed indefinitely.
You're going to say something nicer than that, right?
No.
This is
Nharus
scary.
is not personable.
This is weird.
It's fine. I spend a lot of time here.
And you stare out. Admittedly, a shorter journey than if you took the long way. And next stop is Middle City. As long as you can find the right station, you don't want to go to the wrong station in a place like this.
No.
And you've got some shooken up, scared gnolls who begin to like huddle around you like a pack of scared puppies. And they start whispering among themselves of like, what hell was this? What did they do to Spire? What? All of a sudden they're not acting like the barbarians that they were in the arena. They start examining and questioning and being like, it's true. They dug into this thing, those fools. And Braddock is like, hi, brothers, it's fine. We're gonna get out of here. We'll leave this cursed place soon enough. But first we just gotta do that job for them. All right there, Squish Pants. This is your nightmare. Lead us through.
Don't worry, I know the way, he says with more confidence than he should.
And I think you're gonna take a bond, a street level bond,
okay,
of Gnoll freedom fighters?
Question mark? I like the question mark.
Soldiers of Fortune? That you can work with, and they're going to follow you because they don't want to get lost down here. And you can lead them. Hopefully, if you can find your vault, then you can find your door, which you can find because you know where the doors are
From there.
to even the abandoned church, right? So you've got a route that can get you back into Middle City. You just have to find your way there because you've never taken this particular back door.
No.
So when we return to you, we'll be somewhere in the Vermissian Way. You're looking down at this place, and it's like nothing you've ever seen before, right? Like it's the other side of Spire. It's the foundations. It's between the walls, and you hear this like it sounds like a screaming train always off in the distance. And you just hope this one never finds you. It doesn't sound like it's gonna stop if it does. And sure enough, on the road you're in, it's like a subway tunnel, right? It's the rail line. You can actually see the rail at your feet, but the rail bends up onto the wall and then up onto the ceiling and then corkscrews back down to the other side, and it just seems to go on. But at the very end is like a glowing light that seems to pulse like a heartbeat, but as you're walking, you feel like you're twisting and you're turning left and you're turning right, but when you look behind you, it's just a straight line, right? Like it's all doesn't sense. So you need a guide when you're down here, and this twisting machinery nightmare is your home, and you can find your way through the Vermissian Way, and I think that's where we're going to leave it.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
That was an exciting time there in Derelictus. The arena is never going to be the same again. A whole group of gnolls have just escaped, and word is going to be getting out of gnolls on the loose. Throughout Spire, panic will begin to spread once the printing presses start rolling in the morning. When people are like, where do they go? They've escaped! Ah! Screams! And I know that one! She messed up my bar last night! What do you mean she escaped? And the spindly little drow is like, I guess I'm not getting my deposit back. And
the owners.
I'm leaving that armor somewhere in the Vermissian.
Given how public this escape was, given how destructive some of this was, given how spectacular that party was, both of you are going to get a low advance.
Cool.
And you can take one as an enlisted, because you're working with the soldiers of the Knoll. If you're interested this one time, they might teach you a little thing when you're out in the way, and they'll teach you a little something from an army time.
Ooh.
Or you can take one from the Vermissian advantages,
right? Or
you can take one from the ministry advantages, which themselves have like little spells like being able to see in the dark or turn out old lights or things like that. There's a really cool one where you make a charcoal mark on your neck, and anyone else who's anointed with the same ritual, you can whisper to each other regardless of distance for the next 24 hours. Right? So it's like a cool little, like a long distance communication spell.
That's neat.
So I'll let you think between sessions what that advance will be, and we'll add that to your list, and you get to do that. Anytime you change the city, good or bad, you gain an advance. I'm only giving you a low advance, but if you made a more significant one, like destroyed the arena or the systems of the arena or put it into Knoll hands, that might have been a moderate advance, right? Like that's where the city really does change. And then a major advance would be the end of a major story arc of like the city is changed, will never be the same again. Likely something like Killing Harvest
would probably do that.
Would count for that, where you're taking down, or even better, turning Harvest.
That's what I wanted.
Right?
Yeah.
Killing him is easy. I mean, it's not.
It's not, but it's easier.
But also, it might bring worse things down on the city, right? The Solar Basilica might send the Solar Guard to replace their brother Harvest, who was taken down. Whereas turning him, or one of his lieutenants, and putting someone in power that works for you, that would absolutely be a major change, right? That would be Middle City. Then you can move to other districts, and Middle City's yours. And you have a territory, which you don't have right now, right? Like the little color on the map changes to Ministry Red. And then you get to move to the next level. So that's something to think about as things move forward. You've got a group. Are you using them to rescue the people that were arrested?
Right.
Or are you using them to just catch a whole big thing on fire?
options.
I think you should maybe get a pneumatic tube and send a
Send a
warning
message.
ahead to Daga and be like, good news!
Kind of a good news, bad news situation.
We've got an army of bloodthirsty gnolls that are looking to set revenge on an entire culture of people that have waged war against them for a generation.
Any advice?
Don't bring them.
Send them to Perch. Okay, well, for this episode here on the Spire, I have been your game master, Justin, and I have been joined, making their debut appearance, our idol Xyrie,
That's right, I'm Velvet.
and actually becoming one of our main characters, our Vermissian sage Nharus Zerjan.
Played by Sean Hunter.
And until we meet again in a little more tense situation, I think, here in Spire. I think we're about ready. We've lit some fuses, and I don't think you're going to be able to put this one out in time. Until that time happens, again, next week, be good to each other. Bye.
Terrible Warriors have new episodes every week with early access available on Fridays to Patreon supporters at patreon.com/Terrible Warriors. Join us on our Discord channel, which you can find an invitation to at terriblewarriors.com. And say hi, hang out with us. We're in there every day, and some of our listeners are running games as well, and you'd be welcome to join. Follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. And if you're looking for our archive, yes, the RSS feed only goes back 1 year to our Tales from the Loop game, but the entire catalog of all 7 years of Terrible Warriors is available forever for free at classic.terriblewarriors.com. And if this show is not available on the platform that you are listening to podcasts on, message me directly if you want to on Twitter at Mr. Ecock, and I will get that corrected right away. I'm so excited on what we're doing this season, and well, nothing's going to get in the way of that. Spire will return next week as we deal with the fallout of such a grand breakout from the arena. Because, of course, we left another sage back there in Derelictus. And how is Cassie Chu going to react when she finds out what Sean just did? We'll find out together next time on the Terrible Warriors.